Good evening, C3 parents. I hope you are having a wonderful time. I'm your coach, Karien Pitout, and tonight I'm just going to have a deep, honest conversation about why do I do what I do? Why am I a parenting coach? Why do I do these videos? So, welcome and let's dive into the conversation. I'm excited to hear from you. If you have any questions, things that you would like to ask me, you're welcome to drop them in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, hashtag replay, so that I know what's going on. All right, so guys, C3 parenting, what does it stand for? Conscious, creative, connected parenting. I was born and raised in South Africa, and I grew up in a household that was punitive. We were spanked, we were grounded. There was usually severe consequences for bad behavior or unacceptable behavior, behavior that my parents did not approve of. Growing up, I thought that's how I would raise my kids. And then I met my darling husband and I met his mother, and she's the most gentle person that I've met in my life. She does admit that she spanked my husband once. I think my father in law spanked my husband once as well. Both were incidences where they themselves actually take accountability, where they actually lost control over themselves. Forgot to be the adult. And my husband's a hugely successful person and someone that I actually look up to. Between the two of us, I think he's the one that has the least trauma to work through from his childhood. So when we were pregnant, I still had the idea that raised with the idea that spanking is a good idea. And then I started really thinking and engaging with my mother-in-law, started reading up about gentle parenting, reading up about how to raise kids with the new science and what we know with child development, and it just struck home. I cannot strike my child. I have to find different ways to raise my kid. And it was so overwhelming starting the journey because you do what you were raised to do. You do what you know. And here I was with the only tool in my tool belt was a hammer, and then if you only have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And I had to build up new tools. And unfortunately, in South Africa itself, there wasn't really for South Africa specifically, coaches, people who parented like gentle parents, that could actually train people. And I started doing research and study upon study. I've worked for hours and uh, through many books in psychology and in neuroscience and in parenting. And I started developing this course, the C3 Parenting, the Conscious Creative Connected Parenting course, to start helping parents get the tools that I was started to gather. Because it's one thing to say we're not allowed to hit kids, and we have this whole thing of it's so harmful for children to be hit, but you can't tell someone it's harmful to do something and you don't teach them or show them a different way of doing it. You don't give them new tools to use, and you don't teach them how to use these tools. And that is basically how the whole YouTube channel started. We did the courses, I've offered the courses, I've done workshops with parents, and I've been journeying with many families. And to me, knowing also what the economic situation is in South Africa, not everybody can afford a one-on-one session with a parenting coach. Not everyone can afford a moment where they can actually speak to someone that is not just a group of noise, but where someone actually listens and can read between the lines, can ask the tricky questions and respond with knowledge. And it's very difficult to get that kind of access necessarily in South Africa. And I know that the internet, once again, in South Africa is still a very difficult platform for majority of South Africans, but the channel actually makes it possible for more and more and more parents to get in contact and actually get the tools they need to raise their kids in a gentle manner. So um, that's where my heart is. My heart is to equip people. I'm not out there to make money. Yeah, it's I like to eat as well. But my heart is to equip parents so that parents can raise a next generation of kids that don't have to heal from childhood trauma, though don't have to worry that the by repeating the methods of child rearing of the past that is reflected in a abusive and violent adult society, that we can change that we can change the narrative of our kids, that we can change the narrative that we have about parenting, that parenting, you're not born to know how to raise a child. And I think that's it's one of the cliches that gets told to parents over and over and over, and a child is born with a manual, which is true. And then we say that to them as a platitude, and then we just leave people to flounder about. So my heart, my passion, what I want to do and what I'm doing with this channel is to try and reach as many people as possible, to help them, to get them equipped, to have different tools and just a hammer in their toolbox, um, to raise their kids, and so that their kids can grow up to become conscious people that's consciously aware of how their actions affect those around them, how they live their lives, actually has an impact, and that stranger on the street isn't just a stranger, it's another human being whose life, just my presence already has an effect on it. I want children to be creative problem solvers, and you want to equip parents to help their kids to become creative problem solvers, where they can think outside the box, where they can move with this fast-paced change that the world is going through. When we live in a society where we need to bring on change, there's so many things that needs to change. There's so many things in the way that we do things as a society, but we need creative thinkers. And if our generation cannot sort it out, that we keep on pushing new generations in that keep on thinking creatively to problem solve the issues that we're facing today and in towards the future. And then connectedness, I want to equip parents to raise kids that is not just connected to people around them, but also to connect it to the family, that they actually have a true authentic relationship with their parents, and the parents with the kids, that there is a safe haven, a space where a child and a person and a young adult can authentically be themselves with no judgment, where the parent can be themselves with no judgment, and as both flawed humans grow and learn from each other, that connection just grows deeper, and so that we raise kids that is capable of creating an intimate relationship and connection with other people, especially in the world that we live in, where we've got social media that creates a constant, almost mind connectedness, um, but not a constant heart connection. There's not real connection in social media. It's very plasticky and very distanced. And to equip parents to be able to build that kind of relationship with their kids. So that's where my heart is. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. That is why I became a parenting coach, um, so that other people can learn from all the study that I've done in a way that it is accessible, so that um, gentle parenting doesn't become a class thing as well, doesn't become an economic thing, that it becomes a societal thing that flows and expands through generations and generations. So that's my spiel for tonight. tonight. Um, Guys, please stay safe. I miss my friends. I miss everybody. It's awesome seeing you all again, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, guys, before I forget, there is an upload, and I'll link it in one of the corners here of the previous session that we spoke about the Bible. I actually did an edit of it. There is a music score under it. Please give me feedback about the music score. We're trying to sort out that little bit of thing. And um, I'm super excited. I'm just quickly going to read this comment. The world my kids are in is not the one I grew up in. We need people like you to do. It's a huge pleasure, Janine. And please give my love to the kids. I miss all of you so much. Um, we're moving into winter. It's ironic. I'm focused on South Africa, even though I'm sitting in a different country. But my heart will always remain in South Africa. And um, even as we are expanding C3 parenting worldwide, the roots of C3 parenting will always remain as a authentically South African product, if I can call it that. Um, Guys, please stay safe. Please hold your kids close, love them, hug them, have deep conversations with them, be open and honest with them, and allow them to be vulnerable with you. Um, please stay safe, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. Ooh, before I do that, this is what happens with the lives. I can go ooh before that. Anyway, we might be moving middle December to a new space, so that is why all the backdrop of the studio has been paused. So I'm going to have yet again a new studio set up in 2 months' time, hopefully, if everything goes well. So hold thumbs for that, and I can't wait to share our journey, discovering new things and expanding and growing with all of you. So stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.